So one thing in Minecraft that really annoys me is the fact that you can't get horses into boats. They don't want to do it. They just don't want to do it. Get in the boat! Get in the boat! It doesn't want to get in the boat. It's impossible. There's nothing you can do. And that's because the horse's hitbox is bigger than the boat's hitbox. Let me try and kind of get a horse on top and maybe we can see a little bit. What? Okay, come. I move a little bit this way. As you can see, like the horse's hitbox is bigger than the boat's hitbox. Is it bigger? Or is it about the same size? I don't know. Anyway, that's the thing. If the boat's hitbox is smaller than the thing that you're trying to put into the boat, it won't go in there. And that, I think, is to make it so you can still get in the boat when the thing's in the boat. Like if the hitbox was bigger, then then you would just click on the like a horse instead of clicking on the boat, so you wouldn't actually be able to get into it. So you would maybe have to like get underneath the boat or something. I don't know. So that's why it's done, but I don't like it. I wish that they made something that maybe like the hitbox shrinks when a horse gets into a boat or something. I want horses in boats because I want to take horses on long journeys over oceans, and I know a lot of people do, and it's not really a good solution. So that's what we're going to go and work on today. It's a data pack that goes and adds this functionality into the game. There are also some other mobs, and yeah, I'll go and add them in as well. I think it's like polar bears. I'll get a list later on, but I'm pretty sure polar bears have a big hitbox as well. I just can't get into boats. It doesn't want to do it. So you can actually get horses in boats with commands. And my idea is, I think it's going to be quite simple. If I get a horse and a boat, so I'm thinking if I use the /ride command, which takes one entity and then puts it on top of another entity, I think I can just get the horse to go into the boat. Like if I do ride at E, which is all entities, and then give a type is horse. So, and then a limit is 1, and then if I just sort it by nearest, then we should get the nearest horse to me and only the first nearest horse to me, because I've set the limit to 1, so it should be that horse I've just spawned in. And then if I make it mount type equals boat, limit equals 1, sort equals nearest. What have I spelt wrong? I can't put boat. I have to put what? Okay, oak boat then. Okay, that's going to make things a little bit more complicated. I'll say why in a minute. But if I do this, the horse goes in the boat. And then, yeah, this is what I was saying. I think it's like a little bit difficult to actually get into the boat. If I get the hitboxes up, yeah, because it just covers it. If you aim for the bottom, there we go. Okay, so if you aim for the bottom, you get in the boat. So that's fine. The thing I wasn't expecting was the fact that I had to put in the type of boat, which means that if I'm going to use this method, I would have to write this command for every single type of boat and then every single type of animal. Right, let me get this. Let me go and make a board and I'll go and show off what I mean. Right, so if I use this way, let's say we're just getting horses, donkeys, and mules, right? Let's just say we're just... Oh, there we go. We're just using these 3 mobs. Then I have to write that command for like oak boats, as a cherry boat, and birch boat. But then I have to do that again for donkeys. Then I have to do that again for mules. And then, so where there would have been 3 commands for the different things we want to put into the boat, yeah, now there's 12 commands. And obviously there's a lot more boats and a lot more entities that we can actually, that can't get in boats, that we want to put in boats. Ooh, okay. It's possible to write this data pack. Let's get it all sorted out how it's going to work first with some command blocks. So my first thing is this command isn't really going to work. Not yet, because it just gets the nearest horse and the nearest boat, or oak boat in this situation. So we're going to have to set a distance equal to less than 1, maybe, or something like that. Like you have to be like right next to both of them, because if we have a horse over there and that's the nearest horse, and we don't have a horse over here, then that horse will just go into this boat, which will look weird. So we need to get a distance of like maybe like 5 blocks or something. Okay, so I've had a little think about how we could get this working into a data pack. And there's 2 things I'm thinking. The first thing is you can use /trigger and then a name here, so it'll be like get in the boat, and then it can get the nearest horse and nearest boat and combine them together if there's a horse and boat within like 5 blocks or something like that. And so just a player would have to just type that in, and then the horse and the boat would combine. Or if I want a horse to get into a boat, what do I do? Right, if I want to get something else into a boat, let me get a boat. So let's say I want to get a pig into a boat. I would get the pig, I would get a lead, and I would lead it towards the boat like that, and then it would go in. So what if we just checked if there is a boat with a horse really close to it, so it's like on top of it? Okay, so what I've got here is I execute as an oak boat at the oak boat. If there is also a horse which is less than 1 block away, then put the horse and make it mount the boat. And if I put that on our chain, if I put that as a repeat, then we get a boat and we get a horse, and I lead the horse to the boat. I go, come over here, get on the boat. Let's change it to 2 blocks. No? Did I do something wrong? Oh my god, this is just evil. I just know there's just rabbits. There's so many dead rabbits, and there's just a cat here from the village. Oh, I can't watch, this is just too evil. Oh. Anyway, back to the horses. It's really weird, it doesn't work when it's in the command block, but if I run the command, it does work. But the command block is not working for some reason. I've done it. Right, okay. This was so stupid. So what I had was, I didn't have this command, I had this command, which meant that there's an error at the end because there's a space, and if I remove the space at the end, it just works. So the next thing I really want to do is just kind of make sure that different boats will work how I think they will. So what I'm thinking is if I just go and copy this command block and change the boat type, let's say cherry boat, then I think it'll now just work with cherry boats. Yes. So if I go and get this command again and I change it, instead of horse, I change it to mule, then I should be able to put mules into cherry boats. Right. So if I get a cherry boat here, I get a mule. No? Is it an oak boat I need? Maybe it's an oak boat. Let me go and try oak boat. And mule in the boat. Yes. So yeah, then what I need is a list of all... I need to do like what we've done here, right? And just write a command for every single entity, then every single boat variant that there is, and write just this same command for every single one of them. Well, I'm not going to do that by hand. I'm going to go and write some code. So let me go and open up a code editor here. Okay, so I've had to think about this, and I think that this is the wrong way to do it. This is going to be massive. It's going to be a massive file. It's going to be very confusing, and it's going to be very difficult to detect if there's something wrong. It's a lot to test. I think an easy way is instead get a list of all animals that you want adding to boats. So that's the same as this. And then separately getting a list of all boats, then giving all these a tag in which is can't fit in boat. And then give all these a tag in which is boat. So then it searches for all entities that have the tag can't fit in boat, and if they're close to another entity with a tag is boat, then it puts one inside the other one. And that means that all we have to do is just list out all these mobs that can't fit in a boat and give them the tag can't fit in boat, and just do that once, and all the boats, and give them is boat, and then we don't have to then for each one of these commands like write it out or like this every time. So instead of this, it would be execute at E tag equals is boat at S if entity tag equals can't fit in boat. And everything else is just the same, but then it means that we don't have to write out loads of these commands. So these are the 2 commands that we need. These just add the tags can't fit in boat and is boat for either entities that can't fit in boats or are boats. And I have to write a little bit of code here because for this first one, we need one of these commands for each entity that can't fit in a boat. So what we do is, where it says this type, is we change like type equals horse, type equals mule, type equals polar bear, type equals donkey, all these things. So what the code's going to do is going to have a long list of all these mobs, and then it's going to swap out this for an item in that list. So it'll swap it out for horse, and then it'll give us the command for a horse, and then we can go and put that in the data pack, and then it'll give us the command for a donkey, and we can put that in the data pack like that. So it will just give us a list of commands at the end in which we can just paste into the data pack, and then the data pack can then add the tag can't fit in boat to all of those mob types. So this here means that if it already has the tag can't fit in boat, then don't tag it again. That's what this exclamation mark is. So that means that we're not constantly tagging mobs that we've already tagged over and over again. And we've got the same thing down here for this command, but it just adds is boat for each boat type, and we'll just have a list of boat types. It'll generate the commands for us. We can then put that in, and then every boat that comes into the world will then be given the isBoat tag. So let's now go and skip to when I've got all this code figured out. So first off, thank you to the person who made this post on Reddit. I'll leave a link to it in the description if you want to go and check it out. It was all the mobs that can and can't be put into boats. So these are all the mobs that we need to worry about. There are some fish that can't be put into a boat, but that kind of makes sense, so I'm not going to go and add them in, or they'll just die, they'll just drown outside of water, so there's not really any point in adding them to this. Well, the bat, I don't know, could be funny. Hoglin, specifically the adult Hoglin, the horse, adult, the Magnum Cube, and the large variant, the mule, adult, the polar bear, adult, the Ravager, the skeleton horse, adult, the slime, large, spider, Zoglin, zombie horse, adult. Now, I could go and write something that just goes and runs the code for all slime, let's say, but I am going to go and make it specifically for large slime because it will just reduce lag. I don't think it'll create too much lag, but if you've got a lot of all of these for some reason spawning in, like you've got like a massive slime farm, maybe that's next to your massive magma cube farm, something like that, it's really going to make a difference to only be checking the large ones rather than be checking all of them. So there is some tweaking we're going to have to make to this, because obviously you can't just put in Hoglin adult into a command because it won't understand what that means. We have to go and set it so it checks for a Hoglin with a specific age or a magma cube with a specific size. So there's a little bit more cleaning up we need to do with this, but for the boats it was pretty simple. There's only 9 boats, and oh no, there's not. There's also boats with chests, which I haven't included. Right, so go and added all those into there. So now we've got 18 boat types. That's fine. And then for this, it's quite simple. So this hasn't really changed a lot. This print just means display it, and so I can copy and paste it in. And then this hasn't changed. This is just the command we showed off earlier, and as we can see, it's pretty simple. For each mob type in mob type, so each item inside of this list, go and add it here and then give me the result. As I said earlier, there does need to be a little bit more of it gets added to this, because we can't just directly put these into here. We're gonna have to go and do some extra checks to make sure that it's an adult or it's large with some of these. So I'm gonna have to change this a little bit. Let me go and have a think, and we'll see what I come up with. So the way I've come up to do this isn't really the way that I wanted to do it, but is a way that keeps this very simple. So for like the Hoglin, or if we got anything with an age, all we do is just to its name add a comma, then add the age equals 0 to it, or if it's a magma cube or slime, add size equals 0. That should actually be size is 3 because we want large magma cubes and slimes. And so what I'll do is, when it comes and adds it into the command, it'll go and add the mob name, but then also add this NBT bit here. So when we get the actual command, although I don't really like this because it's not really that obvious on what it's doing, because this kind of suggests it's just the name that's being added in at this point, but we are kind of in reality adding something else here as well, which is the NBT. Not really sure if that makes sense. So yeah, now we should just be able to run this and just get it and put it into a data pack. Okay, so this is what it created. So as we can see, we've got each type of animal here, and for things like the Hoglin, it's added the NBT age equals 0, and then we've also got over here all the boats, and it seems to have done everything correctly. Let's get it in the game and let's have a look. So if I get a horse now, let's say, and a boat, I get a mangrove boat. It should work with all of them, and we go like this shouldn't work, which is good, but these entities should have tags on them. So if I now set up a command block which does execute as at e tag equals isBoat at self if entity at e tag equals can't fit in boat, distance is less than 2, run ride mount self. So this should get the done that wrong, can't fit in boat. So it should get any entity with tag can't fit in boat and is closer than 2 blocks, and put it inside of the boat, which is any entity with a tag isBoat. So if I now set that to repeat and always going, does that work? Move over here. Go on. Go over here. Go over here. It doesn't look like it. I've done something wrong. So let's check that there are can't fit in boat entities by just running a set block 2 blocks above them which is stone. No. Okay, so apparently there's something that we've done wrong in our check for new animals function. So I found 3 things wrong. The first thing was in my code there wasn't a comma in between Ravager and Skeleton Horse, meaning that it was looking for an entity called Ravage Skeleton Horse. All as one word. I also realized there was no donkey in there. I just completely missed that. And Zombie Horse didn't have an underscore in between zombie and horse. So that didn't work. But now everything should be fine. Woohoo! It's gonna work, it's gonna work, it's gonna work, it's gonna... What? That works. Does the boats not work then? No, that works. There's something wrong with you! At least we know that's all working. So they are getting tagged, I assume. Let's try doing /execute at e tag equals, and let's just run set block above their head stone. There we go, so that works. So they are being tagged. Are the boats being tagged as well? So if I do the same with isBoat, yeah, okay. So there's something wrong with this. Let's try just doing it again. Execute as, let's do the tag equals can't fit in boats run ride at e tag equals isBoat distance equals less than 2 blocks, make 1 mount stuff. Right, that should work. Come here. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen. That is the wrong way around. And then he kicks it off. It's the wrong way around, but that's what we need. But if we remove this and then we go like that, we'll see. I forgot to turn it round. I don't think this is a bug. I think this might just be a feature. This is just how I want to play Minecraft now. Oh, I want this boat to tame this donkey. Can I still stand? I can stand on it. I can stand on its back. That's so cool. If I made the boat invisible, you could stand on top of a donkey's back. Anyway, yeah, this needs turning around. So it needs to be self mount this, and then mount the boat, then remove this. There we go. There we go. It should also work for horses, and they can go double as well, or go into there, and then suffocate in a wall. Is there anything I can do to save you? I don't think there's anything I can do to save you. Okay, I can push this button and I'll end your suffering quickly. I'm sorry. And it should also work for like polar bears. You know, I've just realized that list was made 4 years ago, so there might not be things like wardens. I don't know if a warden can make it into this. I need to go and check this list. Can they just go into boats? Get in the boat. Get in the boat. No. But yes, it all works. We just need to put this inside the data pack. And also, I'll go through the list and I'll make sure that there's none that... Wait, you can put gas into boats? You can't put gas into boats. Yeah, I think this list might be a little bit wrong as well, because there's no way you can put a gas into a boat. I mean, I'll definitely add it, but there's... Like, if I do this... Oh, if I do this... No, we're not going to go into the boat. Because it's massive. It's way bigger than the boat. This is not going to... Yeah, I think this list is a little bit wrong. I'll still link it in the description because it's quite useful, but yeah, I'm gonna have to go through and just add some stuff to it. I'll be right back. Okay, so when turning this into a data pack, I found a few things that weren't really right. So when mobs get into a boat, they're now tagged with the in-boat tag, so they're not being constantly put into a boat. And that'll help out with lag. Boats now have a scoreboard value called riders in boat. A scoreboard value is just a number that, in this case, stores the number of passengers the boat has currently. So if this number goes to the capacity of the boat, no more mobs are allowed in. Without this, you can add infinite mobs that have the can't fit in boat tag. So that's not good. To determine their passenger capacity, all boats have now been given a tag of 2 passengers or 1 passenger, because this is different for boats with chests, and that determines how high the number of passengers can go before no more mobs are allowed. And also, pale oak boats were added. I forgot about them. I used the wiki to get the boats, so blame the wiki that wasn't already there. What do you think, Polar Bear? Do you think the Ender Dragon should be added to the list? Should the Ender Dragon be added to the list? Yeah, I think so as well. Okay, so I've added the adult sniffer, the adult camel, the creaking, the ghast, iron golem, the warden, and the ender dragon, because I think that's all the ones that are missed in this list. I think this is a full list of all mobs-ish that you can't put in a boat, because you can't put fish in a boat, or dolphins, but that would be weird, because you'd just be going along, a fish would come into your boat, and then die. Look, if you want that to happen, you make the data pack. I'm not adding that in. So /reload. There we go. And then we're going to check if it's still working. It seems like it is, and a third one won't go in there. Does it work with the new mobs? It does. Can I get 2 sniffers in one boat? Beautiful. Now, there's one thing I do want to test. I will go through, before I release the data pack, I will go through every single mob in the list, and I will go and make sure that they all can be put into boats. But there's one more thing that I wanted to go and try, and that's to try and catch an ender dragon. So, where's the dragon? So the dragon will come down to this point, so I don't know if I could just like put a boat here, and if that works. I don't know if it's going to destroy the boat. I wonder if we can try and get it like as it flies past like here or something. Oh no, it's coming for landing, it's coming for landing. Okay, is it in the boat? Or is that just where it... Let me try and spawn one on top as well. Is it in the boat? We have an ender dragon inside of a boat, and if I come and click on this...
You can't see very much.
Let me turn off the hitboxes. Look at this! This is my favourite data pack. This is the best one I've ever made. I am driving a boat with an ender dragon inside. Mojang, please add to the game immediately, because this would be amazing. I think let's end the episode with getting the ender dragon into the void. Imagine that being the way you kill the ender dragon. You get it into the void, and then... No! Apparently it can't die in the void. Oh, and by the way, you can also do this. But anyway, that is the end of this episode. Hope you enjoyed. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can go and download the data pack. And well, that was quite fun. I wonder what you can go and get up to. Can you go and catch a ghast? Can you go and catch a warden? I don't know. There's so many possibilities now. But yeah, I hope you found it useful. And goodbye.